Russia's tanks are dying in Ukraine thanks to Elon Musk. It's not always that the wealthiest and the most powerful people are caught up on the wrong side of an argument. One such person might not have imagined it this way, but the situation has been made so that he's now portrayed as the bad guy. The situation in question is none other than the war between Ukraine and Russia, and the person caught amongst it is the richest man in the world, Elon Musk. The Ukraine-Russia war is getting tense. With every passing, there have already been thousands of lives lost, yet Russia isn't looking to stop, with Russian cavalry being swept aside indirectly by Elon Musk. That is one added to the list of things Russia doesn't like Musk for. With Musk having already done so much for Ukraine, it's gotten a lot of criticism from Russia. But what steps did Musk exactly take, and how has it affected Russia? Let's take a deep dive into Elon Musk and his vital contributions in the Ukraine-Russia war, and why he is being hated by Russians right now. The beginning of the war. After Russia's invasion took place, many people feared that Ukraine's internet access would be cut off using cyber attacks or due to the disruption of the internet infrastructure, or even worse, both could take place. While there have been temporary outages of the internet along with cyber attacks on Ukraine's government websites, for the most part, there hasn't been a widespread internet blackout yet. That is a good sign for Ukraine to hope that things remain this way. With several immigrants being stuck in their country, the last thing they would want is the internet access limited. This is something under which the Prime Minister of Ukraine, Mikhailo Fedorov, took quite seriously and immediately called for help. The Prime Minister appealed to Elon Musk for help by sending him a tweet. A truck full of Starlink satellite dishes known as dishes showed up in Ukraine earlier this week. Musk also managed to turn on Starlink services in the country, which ushered great applause for the owner of Tesla, as he managed to play a massive part in rescuing the world from where it is headed. It isn't clear when Ukraine will need alternative internet service, but also as long as Ukraine has the support of the wealthiest man on the planet, it seems that they have the right allies by their side. Fedorov tweeted to Musk, "At Elon Musk, while you try to colonize Mars, Russia tries to occupy Ukraine. While your rockets successfully land from space, Russian rockets attack Ukrainian civil people. We ask you provide Ukraine with Starlink stations and address sane Russians to stand. However, this support could backfire on Ukraine because if Russia were to trace the satellite signals and target whoever was using them, it could endanger the lives of Ukrainian civilians. These are simply people who are availing of the service, and they do not have a say in the two countries' politics. If the world leaders looked at this situation like the innocents do, there wouldn't be so much loss of life. Satellite pictures show the horrible impact the invasion has brought upon Ukraine, which has also prompted tensions between the countries of the world with Russia. There have also been talks on dissolving space ties with Russia due to the actions that they are currently taking against Ukraine. This is the first time Russia has been rebelled against ever since the breakup of the Soviet Union took place in the early 1990s. However, the International Space Station remains operational as per NASA since it has the United States as a chief partner of the multinational coalition. It would be impossible to put a halt to such a project. Plus, the United States being a member of it, it cannot be stopped, so Russia would be hoping to keep it the way even if the war doesn't subside. On March 11th, The Guardian reported that the situation of the city of Mariupol is critical, as it is tough to get aid to the people over there. People lack electricity and supplies due to the invasions, and officials have estimated that more than 1,200 people have been killed in the city alone. This figure does not include the people who have died defending the capital of Kiev or other cities which the Russians have attacked. The grit and determination of the Ukrainians are nothing short of incredible, and we can't help but give them credit and stand by their side during their most challenging times. Hopefully the war is going to be over sooner than we expect. Further aid from Musk. The country's prime minister reached out to Musk on social media platform Twitter, where he asked for Musk's assistance in the war using his technology. Fedorov asked for Starlink stations to help Ukraine in the war, and Musk complied. But that wasn't the only time Musk offered the help. News has been received that Elon Musk has sent another shipment of Starlink stations to Ukraine, which resulted in even greater thank yous from the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. With more supplies being received, the people of Ukraine will have better stability than before in terms of staying connected with the outside world. Meanwhile, space entities worldwide have done the exact opposite over in Russia. Sanctions have been put on Russia to stop it in what it is doing. Musk also said in one of these tweets that his support is also out there for the same Russians who do not support what is happening. Received the second shipment of Starlink stations, he keeps his word. Thank you for supporting Ukraine and peace in the entire world, wrote Mikhailo Fedorov, Ukraine's vice prime minister and the country's digital transformation minister, in a tweet on March 9th. Fedorov tagged Musk under the tweet, after which the CEO of Starlink replied, "You're welcome. We've also sent power adapters for your car cigarette lighters, solar battery packs, and generators for places where electricity is not available." With that being a thank you from the Prime Minister, the President also had to give a thank you note. "I'm grateful to him for supporting Ukraine with words and deeds. Next week, we will receive another batch of Starlink systems for destroyed cities." That wasn't the only exchange between the two of them, with Zelensky saying that Ukraine is interested in asking for more SpaceX services for possible space projects in a while, but that will be discussed after the war, said the president. While there have been temporary outages of the internet along with cyber attacks on the Ukraine government's websites, for the most part, there still hasn't been an internet blackout yet. This is helpful because the internet is the only way Ukrainians can contact the outside world. Also, with so many global immigrants stuck in Ukraine, the only thing they would want is their internet access to be limited. Although this situation may make it seem that Musk is concerned about Starlink, which is to a point, we don't think that concern goes higher than the concern for humanity and innocent lives. Musk's effort to dial into this cause shows us that his priority is to rescue Ukrainians from the clutches of war. Destruction of Russian tanks. With Starlink being busy aiding Ukrainians to target Russian tanks and keep civilians connected to the rest of the world, Musk says that there's a massive probability that Russia is going to target Starlink satellite dishes. With Musk making so many things against Russia in this war, it only makes sense for them to take steps against Musk. Important warning, Starlink is the only non-Russian communications system still working in some parts of Ukraine, so the probability of being targeted is high. Please use with caution, Musk also tweeted. This shows how important the relaying of information is for Russia and Starlink servers itself. Although Russia has bombed civilian areas, hospitals, and even mosques, it doesn't seem like having Starlink would make much of a difference in this regard. While Russia has attempted to block those connections using jammers, Musk says that Starlink's latest software update manages to bypass the jamming. But things are not all bad between Russia and Musk. For what's happening in Russia with Starlink, Musk has said that the satellite-based internet service provided by his company would not block Russian news sources even after there were requests for several governments to do so. Musk responded in evoking fashion, "We will not do so unless at gunpoint," he said via Twitter. Sorry to be a free speech absolutist. Mr. Musk didn't say who had requested Starlink block Russian news. Western governments and Moscow have been battling over news content in the wake of Russian President Vladimir Putin's decision to attack Ukraine from the front. This week, the European Union had to step in to revoke the licenses of Russian state-owned RT and Sputnik. Russian tanks might be torn apart due to Musk's technology, but that doesn't justify Russia's actions. Russia isn't stopping its terrorism on Ukraine, and this is Ukraine's way of replying because most other outlets of theirs have been limited. Ukraine is fighting this war using technology, and Musk has been a valuable ally. With the introduction of Starlink in Ukraine, the country can be hopeful that at least some kind of aid is provided to be valuable in these testing times. If the destruction of their tanks ends the war, then so be it.